My nails are so short. How can I grow them longer? I want them to be less long to the point where I'm trying to type and I can't do it. Okay, just kidding. But I do want long, beautiful nails. So if you also want long, beautiful nails, stay tuned and I'm going to talk about all the growth factors that affect how long and durable your nails grow. So if you're interested, keep on watching. So today's curiosity is, what are the factors that affect my nails and how can I grow really, really beautiful nails? So first, growth is affected by two things. The first thing being genetics. So you are not in control of your genetics. What you got is what you got. So what you can do is, number two, just make the best of what you have. So number two is, there are factors that you can mess with to make your nails the best that it can be given your genetics that you have. So we're gonna run through all these different factors right now, and then I'll give you some fun facts. So the first thing is location. The location of where your nails are, it affects how fast they can grow. So for example, I'm right-handed, and my right hand nails grows much faster than my left hand nails. And that's just to do with the blood circulation and how often this hand gets more nutrients from the circulation. So what you can do is massage your cuticles and your nail plate to really increase that blood flow and increase the cell turnover to have longer and longer nails. So the bad news about dominant versus non-dominant hand is that because I'm right-handed, I have a lot more nail injuries to my right hand. And so most often I break nails on this hand, especially the pointer finger and the thumb, and even sometimes like the ring finger and the pinky, which is supposed to be extremely durable. So it just depends. So it grows longer and faster, but there's more trauma to this hand. So just be careful and be aware of that. Number two growth factor is age. So if you're young and hip, your nails are gonna look much better than someone who's much older. For example, if you're in your 50s, you're gonna have a lot weaker nails and nails that don't look as nice, because as you age, you have more and more ridges also. So it's just harder to deliver the nutrients and it's harder to maintain the growth because your cells are older, right, so to speak. So Dr. William Bean actually studied the growth of his fingernails over 2 decades. When he was 23, his growth was 0.123 millimeters per month. However, by the time he got to 67, his growth slowed down to 0.095 millimeters per month. So that's a big difference, and that's just have to do with the fact that you're older, and that is okay. We all grow old. All right, growth factor number 3, we're talking hormones. So when you're pregnant, when you're not pregnant, all of these things affect your nail growth. So the first being, if let's say you are pregnant, you're gonna have extremely rapid growth, and it has something to do with, you know, like circulation, and you're carrying a baby. There's just something magical about the hormone situation. And so you're gonna have to trim your nails more often, and also be really careful what kind of nail polish you're applying, because there's lots of polishes that are actually toxic and have toxic chemicals. I'm gonna talk about that in another video if you are interested. All right, growth factor number 4. We're talking about your overall health. So even in the ancient times, your nails were used to diagnose you with illnesses or diseases or syndromes. So if you have some sort of existing condition or underlying condition, you usually can see some of that reflected in your nails. So if you have yellowness, brittleness, like weird lines, I'm going to talk about that and show you what they mean. So some examples include lupus, psoriasis, liver disease, kidney disease, lung disease. So a lot of these diseases do and are reflected in your nails, both hands and feet, obviously. Okay, so you're probably like, so what? Okay, what about all of these growth factors and facts? So now I'm going to talk about how can you actually maintain or grow out your nails. First thing being, avoid damage at all costs. So this includes physical damage and chemical damage. So physical damage just means like physical trauma or injury to your hands. So like I said earlier, your dominant hand's gonna have a lot more damage because you use it more often. So what you can do is when you're opening things like a jar or a lid, be extremely careful, use surrogate instruments. For example, if you're trying to open a lid like this and it's like really tough and what you naturally do is try to open it with your thumbnail, that's how you end up with a broken nail. And I know because that's what happened to me. So what you can do is go get a spoon or like a butter knife and use that to wedge it open instead. Or if you have a significant other or a roommate, ask them to open it, right? So avoid physical damage. Next thing is chemical damage. If you are applying a lot of nail polish or you work with your hands a lot and you soak them in things, so for example, if you're a dishwasher, I'm the house dishwasher, and I run my hands through a lot of hot soapy water that damages my nails frequently because I'm too lazy to put on dishwashing gloves. And you know, like, I just want to get the dishes done. So that's what you can do. Put on some gloves, stop being lazy, Rose, and just do it, right? And other things include nail polish. So there's actually a lot of nail polish that have toxins or toxic chemicals in them. And I'm going to talk more about that in another video, but basically be careful. They do get absorbed through your nail plate, even though you think it's impregnable, but it actually things go through. So just be aware of that, especially if you're pregnant or want to be pregnant or you have some sort of illness. Like, all of these things add up. Okay, so another thing about chemical damage is nail hardeners. So you might be like, oh, I have weak, brittle nails and I really need something to like strengthen and apply to the top of that so they can grow longer. Actually, nail strengtheners do the opposite. Over time, if you continuously use them, they will actually wear out your nails and make it even more brittle. So you're in this like horrible vicious cycle of like weak nails, applying strengthener, getting more weak nails. So please just go the natural route and make sure you apply like cuticle oil and moisturize your hands. That's what you can really do to help grow out your nails. And then if you have some sort of like habit that you can't kick, I would recommend looking up different ways you can help with that. Like if you're a nail biter, I've heard great things about people applying gel or acrylic, you know, where it's too hard for them to bite, so they stop biting. And then magically they're able to grow out their nails. So it really just depends on you and how you can achieve that. But these are some basic tips. So tip number 3 is take some vitamins. You probably want to start taking some vitamins anyways because our diet doesn't have all of the necessary nutrients that we need. So if you take some vitamin A or eat a lot of vegetables with vitamin A, that's really going to help with your red blood cells carrying nutrients to your nail cells. The next thing is vitamin B. And then you can also get some biotin. Biotin helps with the keratinization, where the process of turning live cells to dead nail cells. So that there's been studies that says biotin helps with that, and you can get that supplement. So the 4th tip is, of course, have a healthy diet. So what you eat and how you eat these things and how frequently you're healthy really takes a toll on your hands and your nails. So if you're not eating healthy, that's really gonna show. So just be careful of that, and remember what I told you earlier, what nails are made of. They're made of the specific protein called keratin, just like your beautiful hair or lack of beautiful hair. So you really have to make sure you're getting enough protein in your diet, and it does not matter what kind of like diet you're on. If you're vegan, vegetarian, or a natural meat eater, you do have to make sure you're getting enough protein so you have the building blocks for the hair and the nails and the rest of you. Tip number 5 that will really help you grow out your nails is just keeping them groomed and cleaned, right? So groom being if you keep a really nice edge, then you're going to avoid catching your nails on things like fabric or when you're going about your life and using your hands. So I keep my nails really short in comparison to some other women or males because if I grow them out way longer, they'll just end up ripping and breaking. And so I maintain a length that works for me. And you go for whatever length that works for you. The next thing is making sure they're clean, because if they're not clean, then you're at the risk of infection from fungus or bacteria. So making sure they're clean. And here's a pro tip: whenever you're washing your hands and you finish washing them, or as you wash them, you should be scraping the underside, the hyponychium, and making sure your nail looks clean through the top, right? And also they are actually clean, so they make you feel better. I always feel better scraping this, and I recommend doing it after or during your hand washing because a lot of things get trapped here, and when you wash your hands, it softens the skin and the nail, so it makes it easier to scrape things out. If you don't have long nails and you can't like reach it, you just get yourself a little tool like a cuticle pusher. I've seen people make tools out of Post-its where you like just fold it into a sharp point and you just use it to scrape. I've seen people use their knives. I don't really understand the knives one, but you know, you do you, whatever works for you. Just be careful because you know, your hands are very sensitive with a lot of nerves. Like the rest of your body, your nails and your hair, which is the same material, is regulated by your genes. So what kind of genetics you have is what kind of body you will have. And according to Healthline, the average fingernail growth is 3.47 millimeters per month. So we can just round that to 3.5 millimeters on average. For some perspective, since that is in metric and some of you guys may not be familiar, a short grain of rice is 5.5 millimeters long. And if you happen to lose a fingernail, it will take anywhere from 3 to 6 months to completely grow back. So if you do the math, that makes sense. The nails on your dominant hand grow faster than your other hand. And interestingly, the nails on your longer fingers grow faster. This has to do with how frequently you use them and the blood circulation. Temperature also has a big effect. Your fingernails grow faster during the day and during the summertime. So I will show you that for my manicure and pedicure that I did this summer in 2020. This has to do with your nail growth being affected by blood circulation. Obviously, it's easier to circulate blood when you're warm, right? Toes on, your feet take twice as long to grow, and it takes anywhere from 12 months to 18 months to grow a completely new nail. So that can vary depending on which toe nail you lost, like if it's the big toe or the little toes. And so now I'm going to show you my fingernails and toes and see how my hands and feet compare to these averages. Alright, so right now I'm going to tell you about how well my nails grew out, and as you can tell, even with me picking at the polish, my nails grew a huge amount. So I'll tell you the exact numbers and I'll show you how you can also do your own nail growth check and see if you're on par with average or if you need to start thinking about some things to make your nails grow faster and longer and more durable. So yesterday on day 13, out of 14, I measured the growth of my nails, this gap of the polish and my cuticle, with a digital caliper. You can also just use a regular, ruler, but I already had one, so I measured it as high quality of a measurement as possible. But basically, your dominant hand, I'm right-handed, is gonna grow faster because your blood circulation and bringing the nutrients occurs more
frequently than your other hand, which you don't use as much. And so what you can do is really give your hands a massage every time you can remember, or as you apply your cuticle oil to keep them moisturized and growing really well. So overall, my nails grew about 1.5 millimeters. I know that sounds like a really, really small number, but as you can see on my left hand, that is a huge amount. So normally I can't go this long without trimming or clipping my nails back because it's really hard for me to live day to day with such long nails. I know that might sound super ridiculous to some of you guys, but this is like what I'm used to, right? And overall, my left hand grew 0.11 millimeters per day, and my right hand grew 0.12 millimeters per day. And so that translates into me needing a trim with the nail clipper every 1.5 weeks. So 10 days. Get away with just filing my nails every week since I can just file 1 millimeter down. And that's really easy without me needing to go the clipper route. All right, so you might be wondering, well, what are some ways I can grow up my nails, like in a nutshell? You can start taking vitamins, because I take vitamins every day because I don't have the best diet, but I try really hard, and so I take vitamins to supplement that. And you make sure to condition your cuticles and your nail bed as much as you remember. So for me, I aim for at least twice a day. Cuticle oil, and at least once a day at night right before bed I put on hand cream. Like I try really hard to like slather it all over. And give your hands a massage. So as I said, the blood circulation is what makes a big difference in the growth. So if you really care about having naturally long, beautiful nails, then give your hands a massage.
For my toenail growth, based on my June pedicure of 2020, my toenail growth rate is 0.05 millimeters per day. That is 1.5 millimeters per month if you do 30 days a month. So this would be 3 millimeters in 2 months, which is slower than my fingernail growth in just 1 month. So my toes grow more than twice as slow as my fingernails, which is the average. I painted them late May, and then I measured them 1st of July. And the fastest growth was actually my big toe for my right foot. And it is very interesting because I am right-footed, so I wonder how, dominant I am with my right foot, and it might be just slightly. And according to these numbers, it is a very, very slight difference. And for my left foot, I don't see the big toe being the biggest growth. It is the middle toe, which is not the longest toe. So that's very interesting. So I hope you guys learned a lot about my nail growth video and you appreciated all the tips and tricks, and let me know down below which one was your favorite growth tip or your favorite fact, and which growth factor affects your nail growth the most. Personally, I think just having a really good diet and making sure I'm avoiding physical damage gives me the best, longest nails. But you tell me what you think. Hit a thumbs up if you appreciate it, and let me know what are you curious about next.